Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brian Welch. I play in a band called Korn and another band called Love and Death. And thank you for listening to the KingdomCore podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the KingdomCore podcast. It's Sean, and I've got Chris here with me. And Chris, I can't hear a wave.
I thought you were just going to go into the flow of things.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We're leaving this in. That was too good. Right. Chris just waved on camera.
Flash the peace sign, you know.
All right. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Today we have a very special episode. I feel like we're saying that every episode, but this is a special one, and it's different than usual. Just in the fact that we focused more on what's going on with our two guests. Chris, would you like to tell them who is on our podcast? I mean, they already know because they clicked to listen.
Yeah, you saw the title. But, guys, we had Brian Welch from Korn and Love and Death, as well as Tommy Green, formerly of Sleeping Giant, currently of Holy Name. Two crazy guests to have here on the podcast with us, and we were so happy and blessed that they would come on here and chat with us. And I think you guys are in store for a very special conversation. So there's a lot to get into. We dive into that right away. But first, guys, we just want to let you know, go download Pyvott. That's Pyvott. It's a new social media app. You can probably download it on the Google Play Store, or I think the iOS, the Apple Store on your devices. And it's a cool new platform, and Tommy talks a little bit more about it. But the big thing right now is that Pyvott's actually partnering with Tommy's ministry, I Run Against Traffic. And for every download that the app gets until January 11th, they will actually donate $1 for every download to Tommy's foundation. So definitely go do that. It's a huge deal, and go check it out. It's an awesome social media platform that is not algorithm based in the same way that like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, all those ones are. So it's definitely going to be interesting to check out. I can't access it yet in Canada, but Tommy does mention that in February, a bunch of other countries outside of the U.S. will be getting it soon. So
definitely. And we wanted to ask you real quick before we get into the episode, if you guys are listening to this on Apple Music or now on Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating. Apple has always had ratings where you could leave 5 stars and then write a review. Spotify now has implemented a star system. I don't think you can write a review yet, but please, if you like this podcast and you want to push it out to more people on Spotify, rate this 5 stars, and we'd really appreciate it. We have Patreon links down in the description for all of that. And with that, let's get into our interview with Tommy Green and Brian Welch.
It's so wild. A lot of times with stuff like this, I feel like I'm kind of just like, I sort of follow whatever seems to be happening. And one of my oldest friends is having a birthday party. And so my homie Eric, that played guitar in Sleeping Giant, came and picked me up. And then we drove to the spot in LA, and he's like, it's for Keller's birthday. So he just went in. I'm like, let me sit in your car. And he's like, okay. So anyway, I don't want to be I'm not trying to be like a complete jerk to my homies. And I'm like, I've got to do this podcast. It's very important. And they're like, okay. So I'm just sitting in their car. So half hour is awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. That really means a lot. No, that really does.
Thanks for taking the time to help promote this. It's super awesome. So, and Chris, thanks so much for your reaction videos, bro. I've been no joke, me and Joey I've just been really encouraged, and thanks for not being super mean about it. No joke. I'm just like, oh God. Also, Chrissy Green, Chrissy Green will be hanging out with me, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a reaction video. She's like, really? And I never watched them with SG, ever. Yeah. And so I watched them, and she's like, those are good. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel like every time, I'm just waiting for the hammer of I don't know. Anyways, it's cool. Thank you. Thanks for caring about Holy Name. I really appreciate it. It's tight.
Yeah, man. I've been loving it.
That's tight. So anyway,
And,
sorry, waiting for Brian Welch.
Yes.
Last time we did a podcast together, he had like a really good hoodie, but then like bright red plaid Christmas pajama pants on.
I love that.
I'm excited to see
what he's wearing this time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he shows up on this one. This will be
That's
pretty
great.
tight. When I got to my hotel, I was like, dude, I think I could still maybe make it because I was just chilling.
Hmm.
But at that point, we were already pretty committed. So now I'm sitting in a Nissan Altima, like in the middle of Hollywood. Like, what?
Oh, nice. Make sure to lock your doors, dude. LA is ruthless.
Dude, it's no joke right now. Man.
I'm down in the OC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tight.
I actually was nervous. I wasn't going to get back home in time because I had to go pick up my wife from work, like literally just half an hour ago. She was off. And I went outside and my car was frozen shut.
No.
So I had to run back inside. I'm grabbing a hot cup of water and I'm just dumping it on my key to get in. And then
no. Where are you at, Chris?
I'm on Vancouver Island, British Columbia.
That's tight. Is it beautiful?
Yes.
I've never been. We were going to take the ferry there. I used to live in Washington State before I moved to Salt Lake.
Oh, sick.
When I was in like late elementary, junior high. Oh, look at this guy.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Chilling. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing well. Nice to meet you. I'm Sean.
Hey, Sean, Brian.
Chris
Chris and Sean. Awesome. What's your name, Tim?
Who, me?
Timmy Pyvott.
Yeah, my name's Tim.
Tim
I'm
Violet,
here
right?
with these guys. It's a school project.
Tim
Violet. Yeah, they're doing a project for their sophomore communications class. Their Bran, I wanted to see if you could maybe play some rock music for them for our eighth grade class we got coming in. You want to do that? It'd be a good project for them.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's tight. It's tight. What's up, man? Hi. What? Hey, you have your pajama pants on again?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That is great.
Nice.
I told him. I was like, man, I'm hoping he wears his Christmas pajama pants because
I do. I've been in my house.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Christmas. Which one? Oh yeah, let me see. There they are.
Are your socks labeled? Did I see an L on one of them?
That's it, right?
I don't think so. Dude, Tommy or me?
No. Okay. Were they labeled? Maybe my screen. Oh, okay. I thought I saw a big L.
So tight.
Even I know what's left and right.
Well,
Well, thank you guys for being here. We're really excited to have you. It's an honor to have you on the podcast. Would you mind telling those who are listening what you guys are doing on here, what you guys are doing together with this Pyvott app, and just letting people know about the promotion going on?
Tommy, go.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll let Brian at some point here talk about it a little bit. The first thing I would say before we get into it is everybody, please stop what you're doing. Go to the App Store and download the free Pyvott app and put it on your phone. What we're doing on this podcast is promoting Run Against Traffic, which is our nonprofit organization that's dedicated to providing resources for long-term aftercare. So it's really sexy to say that we save souls, but the long-term process of putting people's lives back together, it takes a lifetime sometimes, and it takes patience and time and resources. So Run Against Traffic was approached by a brand new social media app. It's trying to upset the current algorithm, do things a little differently. And they said, for every free download of your app, we're going to donate $1 to the Run Against Traffic Foundation because we want social media to be used for good and not evil. And we want to take a stand against some of these other guys. What we're doing on this podcast is you guys have given us the opportunity, and Brian, he's just been a homie for a while. And so he's sort of lending his voice to this campaign because by just putting a free app on your phone, you're partnering with us and you're standing for the survivors of human trafficking and you're helping to potentially build a better future. So stop what you're doing. Please go to the App Store, download the free app on your phone, and then tell all your friends to do it. And just by them doing that, we're going to hopefully generate, tens of thousands of downloads. And then they're going to give tens of thousands of dollars or $100,000 to our organization and we get to do some good. So that's kind of like why we wanted to put our name out there and start doing some stuff. But me and Brian have been friends for some years. We met in the kind of interim. If I remember correctly, Brian had left Korn and was just doing Love and Death and touring, and Sleeping Giant was playing some festivals. And that's when we first crossed paths. We kind of loved the way that I remember me and my homie Eric, like we both said that we both really loved the way that he appreciated Jesus. Like the way that he carried the Holy Spirit and the way that he just seemed to like be about it. Mm-hmm. And it was so refreshing because of just sort of all the things that we'd seen touring on the road and being around a lot of other Christian bands. It was just nice to feel like we met almost like a kindred spirit. And the notoriety surrounding him leaving Korn and just being a part of one of the biggest rock bands in the whole world and then becoming a Christian, that went before him. And so just to get to meet him and actually see him and connect as like brother to brother, in more of like a kingdom reality was so powerful. And we had a lot of joy when we met him. And then just over the years, it was just tight to like run into him and connect. And so I'll let him speak to when he first heard about Run Against Traffic and what I was doing personally. But he's been a proponent since then. And that started in 2000 and really like 2018 is really when that kicked off. And he's been kind of a supporter and encouragement to me and Chrissy Green and our family and all the people that are supporting us. And so anywho, he's been awesome. He's been a homie for a while. And when this promotion came about to partner with like a social media app that was potentially going to do some good, he putting his name out there has been a huge like boost and encouragement for us. So I'm super appreciative to him as a friend, but I'm also super appreciative of him, supporting us again and just putting himself out there like that. So that's what brings us to today.
Awesome. And yeah, Brian, do you want to just speak a little bit to how you joined up with Tommy?
Yeah, like Tommy said, I met him way back in, I forget what he said. It was 2007-ish, 8-ish, 9-ish, probably 2009-ish. And I loved what they were doing with Sleeping Giant. I loved their passion for, the Lord and really like encountering the living God, who that's what it's all about for me. It's like, if it was dead religion, I would not be here right now. I wouldn't have lasted, but it's about like really having a relationship with Christ and they were all about that. And I loved it. And I just wanted to get out there and do the same thing. And I saw some people that were doing it, just like I wanted to freaking leave everything and join Sleeping Giant just to,
Dude, that would have been so sick.
No, yes, a bad idea. Sick. It would have been really, really bad. I'm so glad you did what you're doing, for crying out loud.
Just because the Holy Spirit was like all over it so powerfully, it was just like, whoa. But then, then we just stayed in touch, because I really respect him and his friends, and I got to know them and we stayed in touch. And next thing you know, years down the line, I hear, now, Tommy, it's irunagainsttraffic.org.
Yeah, I think it's irunagainsttraffic.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's irunagainsttraffic.com. So I heard that Tommy was doing it, and he was just going to go for it. He was just going to start running until he got some people to respond to the horrible nature of human trafficking. And I'm just like, dude, here he goes again. Just being Tommy, and I freaking love it. And immediately I go, I'm going. I don't care where he's at. I'm going to walk with him or like support him. And man, I'm going to go run against traffic with Tommy. I have to go. I love this guy's heart and just boldness. So I called him up and I was like, I'm coming out. And when I finally got there, I saw Tommy. He was just like, he looked like Forrest Gump. And Remember Forrest Gump when he was like running forever and then his hair grew long and his face was all sunburned?
Iconic.
He looked like his face was cracked and sunburned and just red, and he was broken. He was breaking slowly but surely. And next thing I know, I find myself walking against traffic because I can't run. But when I got up with Tommy at that point, he was pretty much walking because were you running earlier in the day and then walking later in the day? How'd that go?
Yeah, just depending on how my body was holding up. The first, I do it in sections of 3 hours, with breaks in between. So I'd jog for 3 hours, and then I would walk for a couple hours, and then we'd stop for lunch. And then, so it was, for a while there, I was so broken down that I could only walk. And so that's when it would be a 3 hour block of walking was about 10 miles. And so if I could do three 3 hour blocks walking, I could hit my mileage goal, which was 30 miles a day. So when Brian showed up, I was so relieved and encouraged that I think I probably just walked just to hang out with him more, to be like, dude, I'm so glad you're here.
Moral support, right?
Yes, I was just walking, and we had some homies there, but it was just I was so encouraged that he was there. So we just walked and just kind of talked and sort of shared as we were going, and it made the days go by really cool. He was there for 2 days. So
how long were you out for when you did that?
Oh yeah, dude. Initially the goal was to do a marathon a day for 2 weeks. And so it was going to be 30 miles a day for 2 weeks, but I got 5 days in and I broke down, my left side kind of fell apart. And so I lost a couple days. So it ended up being about 30 miles a day. I got busted up in the middle. So it took 17 days. So it was it was just over 2 weeks.
Is your body still recovering?
Yeah, I think in some ways it did change. I think it did change. I think it did. I think it did kind of a little bit.
Wow.
And part of that's just I can feel that it took a toll, and especially kind of on the way that I stand when I go to the gym and do certain things. Now I'm aware that I don't know. Anyways, I've rehabbed pretty good, but I do know that was a lot.
So your stage dive days are done.
No, never. Come on, man. That's fine. I just jump and everybody else holds me up. That's super easy. That's not a big deal. That's not walking forever. So it's cool.
I was blown away, and by just there's a couple friends, some family out there, his kids and wife. I tell everybody they're just amazing, and they were driving. We wouldn't see them for a while, then they'd drive by and give them some nutrition and some water, whatever. And it was just awesome. It was really cool. I love the purpose behind it. And, I want it to grow. Well, I just want it to just keep growing year after year. And that's what, that's why we're talking to you,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Heck yeah, man.
Tommy, for those who are kind of unfamiliar with I Run Against Traffic, could you talk about what your organization does?
Yeah, for sure. So what I mentioned before, me and Chrissy, when we were first connected with this problem, what we saw was when people got out of the danger zone, stuff fell apart when they were getting kind of healed. Mm-hmm. And so I'll say it like this, I wrote an article earlier today. There's a story where a dude gets healed in the book of Acts, and it says he ends up walking, and then he ends up leaping, and then he ends up praising God, and then he goes into the temple with the others. And so what you see in that story is walking, leaping, praising, and in community. And so to be walking, to be physically healed, to be leaping, to be emotionally restored, and then to be praising God, let's say spiritually healed in some way, and then to be going with them. And so to that process, when you've been totally shattered and manipulated and lied to and broken physically and manipulated sexually and addicted for years, or whatever the situation is, you're forced to do labor for years, you've had your passport and your identity stolen, and you've been made to work for extended periods of time. You've been used like a machine instead of a person, instead of an image bearer. to slowly be physically healed and emotionally healed and spiritually aligned, and then to be brought back into safe relationships with people, that's a long-term process. And that's the long road of actual full healing. And so it's really the problem that Run Against Traffic is seeking to resource is Run Against Traffic's goal is to create a big war chest full of money and resources to get to all the people that are building aftercare homes, setting up aftercare programs, and putting broken lives back together again. Here's the stark reality. If you were to save all the people caught up in human trafficking in America, there's not enough places for them to go. Wow. So they're all a majority of them are gonna go right back into it. And that's humans, that's just people. And so until there's enough places, we can't even begin to think about really what the healing could look like. So our role at Run Against Traffic is to create enough money and enough resource that we can help fund long-term aftercare in America as people build it out so that we can rescue and recover more and more souls from this like horrific crime. So our goal is to run, build community, raise money, and write checks. That's what we do. All the other guys are doing counseling, addiction counseling, physical therapy, emotional counseling, spiritual healing, community involvement, holistic care. Like the pros are going to do what the pros do. Our job at Run Against Traffic is to get people involved and get resources to the good guys. So that's what we're doing with Run Against Traffic.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
I feel like human trafficking is one of those issues in society that people just don't talk about, either because it's too dark, it's too scary for them to talk about, or on the other hand, they just don't know about it. And I feel like it's kind of swept under the rug. So it's so awesome to see you being such a voice for change with that issue in society.
That's interesting you say that. We talk about it a bit. I feel like Brian and me doing stuff together, it's coming up a lot. I do wonder, I don't know, Brian, why do you think, I don't know if I view it that way, but I'm also in it, right? Like, so for me, I feel like, I don't know if I see it swept under the rug. I think it's really complex, and I think it's connected to a lot. And I think within that a lot, there's stuff that people don't want to deal with, because it's ultimately like it's a heart issue, or it's how we relate to one another, or it's personal freedom, or it's sex positivity, or it's whatever it is. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know. Brian, what do you think, man? When he says that, like stuff that's like swept under the rug, like, why do you think it is that people don't necessarily talk about it, or it's not? Well, first off, do you feel like it's not as well known? And then two, why do you think people don't want to talk about it?
I'm wondering if it's like just people don't, it's so far detached from them and their world and their family and friends that they maybe don't know anybody at all that have fallen into that, you know? And so it's just like, oh, that's other people. Or, you know, that's a different level of society, you know? Or that's, so they don't really know how to help, or, you know what I'm saying? I just wonder.
Yeah. I think that's right on. You know what that makes me think of is so a lot of times you see it in movies, it's like the saloon, right? And there's like all the women that you can order and prostitution and that kind of thing. And it's almost like in other countries, you go to a bar and they're all there and you can just like order an escort for the night. And in America, I know it does look different. But I use this story pretty often when I talk about it. And so Sean or Chris, like, this is what I would say to most people in America that are like, I don't even know if that's even happening here. Is that my daughter, my oldest daughter was about 15, 16 years old when we first got involved in this. And when I met with a coalition of people that work in the human trafficking space in Utah, the Attorney General's office, and some caseworkers and some other activist groups. And one of the caseworkers said, what high school does your daughter go to? And I told her the name of the high school. And she said, yeah, I have 4 open files on kids that have been trafficked at your daughter's high school. And so I just want to let you know, and I just live in like a normal city in Utah, you know, like I'm just normal place. And the reality is it just looks different, and it's connected to poverty. It's connected to probably people. It's just people's issues. And so, you know, in other places it's a bar and it's an empowered woman trying to make her living or whatever. It can look like a teenage kid that's given herself to an older boyfriend, and that boyfriend is using her to make money. It can be a relative putting a son or a daughter out and prostituting them for money and then having them at home at night. So it doesn't look like a bar. It could be any number of things. So it's complex in how it looks, but I just want to say this, especially because I think you bring up a good point, Sean, is just like, it's happening here in America. And it's happening in labor where people are forced to do work in horrific conditions and they can't get out. And it's happening in sex trafficking with people that are being led. And the real signs, if you do the research and stuff, is force, fraud, or coercion. And those are the things that lead everyday people into these horrific situations, is they are forced into it, they are lied to, or they are manipulated into it. And all three of those things are happening to people in labor and in sex trafficking. But it's happening here. So that's a good point. It's like, yeah, Brian, like, it's far away. And I hope so. Most people want their families, their children to be safe from this kind of stuff, but it's happening at their high schools. It's happening on the streets around you. And it's a problem, but it's a problem that if we look at it, we can address, we can see it, you know? So it's important to know.
Yeah, that's why we got to look at it and we got to learn about it. It's just an ugly fact, you know, of maybe a small percentage of humanity that wants to be involved in that, you know, and it's just like so ugly that people maybe want to pretend that it's not happening or not happening as much as it is, you know, just because, I mean, you can bring depression on people. It can bring fear. It could bring, you know, hopelessness for humanity. It could, you know, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, people want to stay in their safe bubble, you know, they don't want to run to the problems to solve, you know, which I mean, I'm talking about in general. So hopefully more people will get more bold and really understand that we're given only a few decades on this planet and we need to like run to the problems and try to make a difference while we're here. You know, we're too busy. We're too busy trying to build our happiness, you know, and that's fine. That should be a number one goal too, because, you know, or, you know, top three, you know, but it's not all about us. That's what I'm trying to get at, you know. I'm saying like you need to have like proper self-love and self-care to feel like healthy inside so that you can go out and want to help others, but there's a balance, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I think so too. I was talking with a therapist out here who's just a dear friend, and he was talking too, you guys, you know, we're talking about trauma. We're talking about the complexity of trauma. And if someone's in an abusive relationship or they don't have a safe place to sleep at night, it's very difficult to deal with the deep heart emotional issues that they're dealing with because they're living in crisis at the moment. And so they call it almost like the hierarchy of needs. And if the hierarchy of needs aren't being met adequately, it's very difficult to bring healing to people. And so to take some of these people that are in the midst of trauma and think that just like with the snap of the fingers, they're just going to figure it all out, that's not a patient or trauma-informed way of looking at people. And I think Jesus is really cool in that he's patient. He's really patient with us. And I think if we can model that in our worldview, we'll be kinder to each other. But then too, we're not going to set all these weird timelines on people coming out of horrific circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm almost hoping that by being kind to these people that are souls that are just like us, maybe it will help bring a bit more empathy and compassion to the world, or at least our world, right? Like, so this is also about like, hey, everybody, like this is happening to everyday people, and it's going to take everyday people getting involved to actually bring the answer. And that's partly why we're hoping through building community, through getting everyday people involved, running, walking, joining the team, buying some gear, like just being a part of the solution, that we can begin to see it like in the light. And then it just gets easier to talk with your kids, right? Like, what are the conversations like? Are any of your friends depressed? Is anybody at your high school struggling with addiction right now? What do you think's going on with them? Like, we are really the first and last kind of line of defense for a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? Is there anything that you want to ask. I'm trying to think. I want you guys to get a little bit more time with Brian before I got to dip. That's my thought. Because I could just talk the whole time.
Are you guys cool to talk a little bit about music for a few minutes?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about Holy Name, a little bit about Love and Death, and then I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite songs by each other's projects are. I thought that would be
because apparently Brian is a huge Sleeping Giant fan, or at least was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are dying to hear what your favorite Sleeping Giant song is.
Dang, that's
I'll tell you my Holy Name song.
That's crazy.
Tommy, let Tommy go first.
My favorite, I'm going to say it like this. Okay, so my favorite Korn song.
Okay.
Somebody Somewhere. Brian, is that the right one? It's got the super heavy breakdown at the end.
Yeah, Somebody Someone.
Somebody Someone. That's it, dude. That's the one, dude. I'm trying to think of the... It reminds me of Disembodied. It was so heavy. When I saw the video, I flipped out. I remember thinking, oh my God. And I was just with Eric Gregson, and we were just talking about this on the sidewalk about how heavy your band is live and how you guys are incredible live. So that would be my favorite Korn song. My favorite Love and Death song.
Come on.
Bro. Dude, I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Sing it for us.
Sing it. Tommy loves to sing on interviews.
Dude, shut up. You guys are blowing it. Hold on. Gosh darn it.
Paralyzed. Chemicals.
I was made for loving you, Tom.
Yeah, that's it. It was it. Chemicals. That's that one. Is that the one with the
Chemicals?
Yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got your voice going through my head right now. Okay, I'm moving on. We're moving on. Sorry. Dude,
it's all
that's it.
good.
Chemicals is good. Paralyzed is pretty tight. What was the last single that you released in 2020?
Down?
Down!
I love
that.
I like that.
Yeah, I played that on a couple of runs. Like, I repeated that a couple times. That one's tight, too. But your guys' tone is so sick.
So
me and Rookie from Sleeping Giant, he'd be like, I don't know how they do it. It's so heavy all the time. I'm like, it's this pedal that they have. They have this pedal, and it's like always, but I don't know which one it is. So it's cool.
Dude, it's all freaking electronics, man. All you got to do is just it's all cheating. You get a guitar, and then you plug it in. You plug it into the wall.
Yeah.
And you amplify it.
Yeah.
With different pedals.
Down was hard.
Like we're doing it
I like Down. I'm gonna say Down. Down. Yeah. I listened to that song a bunch of times.
It's a great track.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay.
So Brian was in a hardcore band. He doesn't know what all these special.
Yeah. So did you figure out what your favorite Sleeping Giant song is?
Well, I'm going Holy Name because Sleeping Giant is no more.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
We have to let.
But Preachcore lives.
Preachcore lives. It does a little bit.
Preachcore is actually a slamming song. That's a song, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
that was on the last Sleeping Giant record.
But Fall to Your Knees, is that how it is on Holy Name, Mr. Tom?
Yes. Fall on your knees, dude. Whew. Yeah. Original.
That one gets me. It's like 8 minutes or something.
It's that drone, dude. It's that holy drone, bro. You can just kind of get lost in a little bit. That's the point.
The lyrics are lead us onward through the desert, through the valley. I will trust in you. It's just like when I listen to it, I see back my journey of past sufferings and what I went through. A lot of tears, and I don't know, just lead us onward through the valley. It hits me. I'm just
so like, good.
Wow.
It's Aaron Craner. Shout out Aaron Craner.
Shout out to Aaron Craner.
Rev
but
game,
it's just,
oh my gosh,
it's just like, it's deep and it's mature. I feel like it's spiritual maturity. You know, it's just like, you know, though you slay me, I will praise you. You know, that there's a verse. It feels like God's slaying us, but he's just training us, you know, and he's forming Christ in us through sufferings. And that song makes me think of that.
That's so dope.
That's great. That's awesome. One quick question before we let you guys go. I wanted to ask you guys this. For someone who may be listening to this who may not be a believer or who may be struggling in their faith, what would you say to that person who wants to follow God, but they're searching, they're lost, they're afraid to come to God, to come to Christ? What would you say to that person?
I would say that somewhere around 2/3, 3/4 in the New Testament was written by a man who was helping to kill Christians, he was persecuting Christians to their death, he confesses in the New Testament. And God said, come to me. I love you, and I'm going to form my son in you. So it's not like this, but it seems like the worse you are, sometimes God likes to choose you more because he likes to show off how kind he is. He's just so kind, and so like it's not about our works, either good or bad. All he wants is a willing yes for us to say yes.
Yeah.
And I would say just don't give up. If you're in that spot out there, just get back up, man, and just it's totally open for you to walk into God's heart right now, and you can go at your own pace. You can go quick like I did. I went addicted to meth to addicted to the God's Holy Spirit. I was like, I want it all. Give it to me all. And that's a lot. Most people aren't like that. You know, they can come in slower and go at their own pace. But I will say that if you stick with it, you will become better at everything you do in life will become better. You know, this day I'm a better friend, better musician, better son, better everything, you know, businessman, whatever. You can minister, you know, it's just increase. You just keep increasing when you're with God, and
you grow in holiness.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's really encouraging, Brian. That's good, man. Can I add a thing?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
God,
sure.
I don't know, man. B, that was tight, bro. That was tight. I'm wondering if this is of any value to anyone that's in that spot. I would say that there's a lot of people in the world that are terrified to be seen for who they really are. And there's a lot of people that are really intimidated by belief. And so what I'm trying to say is, you may be having some struggles in your own life, and you may feel like, man, I don't even know. And I want you to hear about, like what Brian just said, this like invitation that it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what's been done to you. It doesn't matter all these other circumstances. Like you're a child of the Creator, and he loves you. But I would also just say, don't let this BS culture intimidate you from being loved by God. And don't ever be ashamed that you have a spirit and something inside of you is breaking open because you don't know what you're looking for. It's God. And the whole culture that surrounds us is trying to fill that God space with everything else. And it sucks and it doesn't work. So if any part of you is intimidated or embarrassed, I just want to give you permission. You should just join us, because we're not ashamed of you. And Jesus isn't ashamed of you. And like, it makes me cry. He'll never, ever be embarrassed of you loving him. Don't ever be embarrassed of loving Jesus. Don't ever be embarrassed of him. He's not ashamed of you in any way. And this whole kind of world has got so much shame. They just don't know what to do with love like that. So you should just come, because it's awesome.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Brian, right? Like, that's good, man. Right? Like, dude, Brian, come on.
The day I learned that I don't care if anybody was going to laugh at me, that's the day I became free. before knowing Jesus. You know, I was like, wait, I don't care. I don't got to put up this front anymore.
Come on.
I just want to be totally at peace within myself when no one's around. I want peace.
Yeah.
And that started the journey when I let go. I was like, I don't care anymore.
Yo, that's a banger.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Come on.
That's amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm going to say this before you guys go, okay? I want you guys to set up an account for your podcast and all your stuff on Pyvott. And my invitation is make it special. Make it different than whatever you're doing on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. Like, please make it fun. Maybe make it unique in some way. That's almost what I'm hoping will happen for a lot of people that do content, is that Pyvott will become a space for content creators and musicians and stuff where you get to start again and you get to make it special. So, you know, please take some time building that out, but make it something that is maybe a little different than these other guys. Cause I think that's part of what we want to do. So you know,
for sure.
I just actually made mine like an hour before this. I followed
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Make it available in Canada so I can.
Dude, that's going to be, I think right at the beginning of February, it'll be Canada, Mexico, and the rest.
Sick.
So it's a little bit out. And again, we're at the beginning of the journey, but if you guys can, please keep plugging that for us, you know, even for before the episode, like, hey, before we...
Oh, we lost him. Oh, well.
Bye, Tommy.
I hope we...
Good to see you, bud.
Oh, man. Yes.
How long have you guys been doing the podcast?
So we've been doing this podcast.
August?
We started it in August. Yeah.
August. I think it was August. Was the first episode.
Yeah. Good. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what KingdomCore is. So I run a page on Instagram. It's called KingdomCore, and it's just a hub for Christian rock and Christian metal. I post all about like the big bands that are like in the mainstream Christian rock scene and down to like the little small guys that are playing for 5 people. And it's really a ministry. It's to share the love of Christ through heavy music to people who have been cast out by society because they're into this niche, this genre, or people who are unbelievers who like metal and who have never heard Christian metal. So it's really just an outreach on both fronts. And Chris, he runs a ministry called For the Rock. You can talk a little bit about that. And we partnered up to do this podcast.
I'm just the copycat KingdomCore. No, I'm just kidding. I do a very similar thing, but on Instagram, just the way that platform is, I focus very much on the visual side of things. So I have a little tagline. It's like visual and audio art working together to illuminate the dark. Again, very Christ-centered, just on all the bands, big and small, rock and metal. But I also have a YouTube channel, which we actually host the video of this on, that I do like reaction videos and top 10 lists and that kind of stuff. Just building community through that.
Awesome, man. I love it. Freaking unique and different approach. I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, God has really blessed it.
Right on, man. I just I pray that it keeps growing and the impact you just keep seeing increase, because Lord knows everything's going digital. They're talking metaverse now. Everything's going to be, you know what I'm saying? This is the way we're going to reach people. Like internet's been around for a long time, but like this shutdown like forced us into the digital world. Like Apple sales went through the roof. People that weren't all in are all in now. So just keep growing your media platform, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, awesome.
That's really encouraging.
Yes, sir. Are you guys married? Have kids or anything, you guys?
We both got married to our respective wives, not to each other, last year. No, I mean, like,
I don't know what.
I was about to say we both got married last year, so I wanted to.
Yeah.
I feel like I said that once before, and somebody thought that we.
Dude, that was awesome. That was
Chris, you got the end of year blooper reel.
So did you did you guys have a double wedding or what? Like,
yeah. No, I just got married back in. Yeah, I just got married back in May.
Congratulations!
And I was in
Thank
October.
You.
That's the thing. We've never met each other.
Yeah, I'm down in Orange County, Southern California.
So you guys never met face to face?
Nope.
No.
Dude, so you guys last year, you guys were like, "Hey, sweetie, I'm bored." No, to your girls, you're like, "Honey, I'm bored. There's too much quarantine going on. You want to get married?" Is that what happened?
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Funny story. I met my wife at kind of a Sleeping Giant concert. I met my wife at Face
Him.
I met her. I met her.
Okay, is it really, Chris?
In 2017.
It's awesome.
Well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come speak with us tonight. This was really, really a pleasure for us. That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. It was such a great conversation with Brian and Tommy. Thank you guys so much again for those two to come on and chat with us. It was an absolutely amazing conversation and such a blessing to us. And we hope it was to you guys as well. It was a little bit of an abrupt ending, but hopefully everything that needed to be said got put in. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, go download Pyvott, go check it out. And yeah, anything else?
Thank you so much to our core patrons on Patreon who donate $10 or more a month. Number one, our brother Peter from Christian Metal Source. Go check out his YouTube channel for awesome Christian metal content. And Jonathan Lyman, thank you guys. Your support is very, very much appreciated. And with that, we hope and pray that this episode blesses you guys. And we hope and pray that you guys have a great New Year's. That 2022 is a great year for you guys. Chris and I are going to be taking a little bit of a break during the first month or so of 2022 just to catch our breaths from all the holiday busyness. And so we're just so grateful and thankful for all of you guys being so receptive to this podcast, so supportive. It really, really, truly, truly means the world to us that you guys keep listening. We keep getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listens per podcast, which to me still is mind-boggling. So thank you for listening, helping us make it 9 episodes since August. And Chris, any final words?
Thank you guys so much for the support. We hope you guys had a great Christmas, great New Year's, and we will see you in 2022.
Peace.
Peace.